the young man noticed a fly on his master's clothes, so he wanted to swat the fly dead. Unexpectedly, one slap sent his master flying far away. While he was still caught up in blaming the fly, he found that his master beside him was nowhere to be found. It turned out that the young man had followed his master's instructions, practicing the most basic palm techniques of Shaolin Temple every day. But the young man was extremely talented. Just striking lightly with one palm contained boundless power, but he didn't know how powerful he was, and thought his palm strength had no power at all. However, after he left, the mountain range exploded, leaving a huge palm print. Right at that moment, an old beggar came to the door to provoke a duel. One palm strike seriously injured the senior disciple. Then the old beggar started belittling Shaolin Temple, saying that Shaolin Temple was full of trash, and the martial arts learned were just fancy moves, vulnerable to attack. The disciples, seeing this, hurriedly formed the 18 Arhats formation, wanting to teach the old beggar a good lesson. But the old beggar said that Shaolin was bullying the few with the many, and even if they won, it would be an unworthy victory. Helplessly, the master had to let the young man duel the old beggar one-on-one, but the young man was very scared, because he thought his martial arts were very poor, and the old beggar had just defeated the senior disciple with one palm, so he concluded he was no match for the old beggar. But the master told him to let loose and fight. Then he provoked the old beggar, saying that the young man could defeat him with just 1/10 of his power. The old beggar immediately flew into a rage, and directly unleashed his super finishing move, Flying Dragon in the sky. One could see a golden dragon accompanying the old beggar as he slowly rose into the air. Seeing this scene, the young man was extremely frightened. Just as the old beggar unleashed his divine power, the master directly pushed the young man out. Watching the giant dragon speeding toward him, the young man fearfully raised his hand to block. Unexpectedly, he sent the old beggar flying 10 miles away, but when he opened his eyes again, he found no sign of the old beggar in front of him. Seeing this situation, the young man was deeply confused, and the old monk, to hide the young man's strength, deliberately deceived the young man, saying that it was because the old beggar found the young man's strength too weak, and couldn't bear to attack a junior, so he left directly. To temper the young man's character, the master let the young man go down the mountain. In the blink of an eye, the young man returned home, but his stepmother held a grudge against him. She teamed up with her biological son to deceive the head of the family, forcibly making the young man participate in the arena competition, because they also thought the young man knew no martial arts at all, and going to the arena was asking for death. The young man had the same worry. Unexpectedly, just as the young man was worrying about his life, his childhood sweetheart cousin suddenly appeared. The two had practiced martial arts together since childhood, and had an extremely deep bond. She also thought the young man knew no martial arts, so she secretly demonstrated her family's inherited swordsmanship, so the young man could learn a few more sword moves to defend himself during the arena competition. However, she had only demonstrated it once. When it was the young man's turn to practice, he actually memorized the entire set of swordsmanship, and practiced it better than his cousin. His cousin could hardly believe it, that the young man had such high talent. He could